Hello guys, you are welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we are going to be looking at some mathematics questions and then provide answers to them. Now to begin, before we begin, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification button so that you'll be notified whenever we send a new video, and please make sure you comment below areas that you know that we may need to improve on. Thank you. So you are given the first question. The first question says, what is the conjugate of the following? What is the conjugate of the following? Now, first of all, this is a complex equation, or a complex expression. Rather, this is not an equation, a complex expression. And complex numbers, they are numbers that have a real part and they have an imaginary part. Now, for instance, while you are solving some quadratic equation, you get to a point where you have something like root of -1. Now, what do you think will be the square root of this? In most cases, while you were in secondary school, you will say this is what? Impossible. But when you are in the university now, the root of this, root of -1, was given as what? Iota. So if you have something like 2 root -1, this will be written as 2 iota. Why? Because root of -1 is iota. Now, iota is a Greek word. Iota is a Greek word, or is a Greek alphabet. It's one of the Greek alphabet. Like the way you have A, B, C, D in the English alphabet, that is how you have iota as one of the alphabet in Greek word. Are we getting it now? So whenever you are given anything at all, when you have something like root of -1, that is the iota. So if I give you something like 3 root -1, what does this one mean? It means 3 what? Iota. Now, like I said earlier, every complex number has the real part and then it has the imaginary part. So if I give you, let's say, root A plus iota root B. Now, this part, standing on its own, not carrying iota, is what is called the real part. This is what is called the what? The real part. Why this part that is carrying the iota is what is called the imaginary part. This is what is called the imaginary part. This part is the real part, and this part is the imaginary part. So the part carrying the iota is often regarded as the imaginary part, while the part without the iota is regarded as the real part. Are we getting it now? So in this equation, or in this expression given to you, this complex number, this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. Now, there's no complex number that does not have real part and an imaginary part. Most of them, they must have what? The real and the imaginary. Now, let's assume you have something like 2, the one that is here, 2 plus, let's say, 4i. I say get out. 2 plus 4i. Now, where is the real part and where is the imaginary part? Of course, we know that this is the real and this is the imaginary. That is the real and this is the imaginary. So whenever you are given to find the conjugate of any sort or of any complex number, the conjugate of a complex number, all you need to do is change the sign in between the real part and the imaginary part. Change the sign in between the real parts and the imaginary part. So if we are to change the sign in between the real part and the imaginary part, what are we going to have for case number 1? The conjugate of this complex number would be, so this one, let's take this one for root of A, root A plus we have root A plus I root B. Leave here now. Root A plus I root B. Now this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. To find the conjugate of this sort of this complex number, all we need to do is change the sign in between. So this becomes root A. Instead of us having positive here, there becomes negative I root B. So that is that for this question. Now the next one says 2. Now we have part B or part A of the question that says you have 2 plus 4i all over 3 minus 2i. 2 plus 4i all over 3 minus 2i. Now whenever you have something like this, what you normally do is, now all you need to do is find use the conjugate to multiply both up and down. Use the conjugate of what you have here. If you have a fractional form in such a way that you have the denominator and the numerator, all you need to do is use the conjugate to multiply both up and down. So what will be the conjugate of the denominator? Rather, use the conjugate of the denominator to multiply both up and down. So what will be the conjugate of the denominator? The denominator is what? 3 minus 2i. The conjugate of this will be 3 plus 2i. So we come here and say 3 plus what? 2i divided by 3 plus 2i. Now, why are you doing this? You are doing this in order to express the complex number in its base form, which is in the form that it will have a real part and then it will have an imaginary part. Are we getting it? That is why you are doing it. It's more like rationalization of sort. So if we do that, what are we going to have? We pick everything together. You have 2 plus 4i bracket 3 plus 2i bracket all over 3 minus 2i bracket then 3 plus 2 iota. Open through with what we have here. Now 2 times 3 will give us what? This will give us 6. 2 times 2i will give us plus 4i. 4i times 3i will give us plus 12i. 4i plus 8i will give us 4i plus 2i will give us 8i squared. All over 3 times 3 will give us 9. 3 times 2i will give us 6i. Minus 2i times 3 will give us minus 6i. And then minus 2i times plus 2i will give us plus 4i squared. Now, at the end of the day, what will be our answer? This will give us 6 plus 4i plus 12i will give us what? 16i. 4i plus 12i will give us 16i plus 8. Now, I square, if I is equal to root of minus 1, like I said earlier, I square will be what? The square root of minus 1 squared. Of course, we know this square cancel this square root from here, so we are left with minus 1. So I square is equals to minus 1. So in place of I square here, we can put what? Minus 1 all over. Then we now have 9. 6i minus 6i is 0. So we have plus 0 plus 4i square. What are we going to have? 4i square. What are we going to have here? 4i square. What are we going to have? You are going to have 4 brackets. I square is what? Minus 1. Are we getting that? I square is minus 1. So finally, what do you think we are going to have? Now notice that when minus 2i multiply 2i is going to give us what? Minus 4i square. So here you have negative sign here. Okay. Now this becomes 6 plus 16i plus 8 times minus 1 is what? Minus 8 all over. Then you're now going to have 9. Then minus 4 minus 1 is plus 4. And then finally, you are going to have 6 minus 8 plus 16i divided by 9 plus 8 is what? 13. 6 minus 8 is minus 2 plus 16i divided by 13. Minus 2 plus 16i divided by 13. Now, in this form, you can now express it in the form of real and imaginary. Remember that the 13 under belongs to both minus 2 and 16. So this will give us minus 2 divided by 13 plus 16i divided by 13. That is if we should spread the 13 under under both sides. Are we getting it? Minus 2 divided by 13 plus 16 divided by 13 is still the same thing as what we have here. Now, like I told you, that the conjugate means you should change what is in the middle sign. Are we getting it? The middle sign, change it when you now have it in the real and the imaginary. The reason why we had to do it like this is to convert it to the real part and the what? Imaginary. For instance, in this case, you will not be able to determine between the real part and the imaginary. Unlike this one now that you can easily say this is the real and this is the what? Imaginary. Okay? So our final answer for the conjugate will be minus 2 over 13. In place of positive, what do? You change it to negative 16i divided by 13. And that is the solution to that question. Minus 2 over 13 minus 2 over 13 minus 16i over 13. And that is the solution to number 1. Now let's take number 2 question. Number 2 says find the square root of this. Now whenever you are given any slide, this is understood. In most cases in the exam, I often encourage students to just press your calculator. You put your calculator square root of then 9 plus 4 root 5, it will give you an answer. But if it is theoretical, then this is how you ought to solve and then provide the solution. Are we getting it now? You can say, let the square root of 9 plus 4 root 5 be equals to root A plus root B. That is how to go about it. Let the square root of this be equals to root A plus root B. Let the square root of this be equals to root A plus root B. Let the square root of this be equals to root A plus root B. Now, having taken this first step, that is the first thing you do. The next thing we are now going to do now is you now say square both sides. Square both sides to remove the square root from there. Square both sides, the next step. So this will be the square root of 9 plus 4 root 5 then squared is equals to the root of A plus root of B squared. Square cancel square root. So we have 9 plus 4 root 5 is equals to, now this square here means you should multiply this twice, right? So we have root A plus root B bracket then root A plus root B. The square here means multiply this one twice. Are we getting it? This square cancel the square root from here. So this gives us 9 plus 4 root 5 is equal to, use this one to open through the brackets. Are we getting it now? So this gives us root A times root A is A. Root A times root A is A. It's just like you have root A times root A is A because it's root A square. Are we getting it? Square cancel root and we are left with A. So root A times root A is A. Root B times root B is B. Root C times root C is C. Root 1 million times root 1 million is what? 1 million. Root 1 times root 1 is 1. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. And so on and so forth. Are we getting it now? So root A times root A is A plus. Now you are not going to use, first of all, we use this one to multiply this. We are not going to use root A now to multiply this. So root A times root B, it will give you root A B. Root A times root B, it will give you root A B. Root A times root B will give you root A B plus root B now times root A will give us root AB2. Root B times root A will give us root AB plus root B times root b. Root b times root b will be what? B. Root b times root b will be b. So at this point in time, you now say 9 plus 4 root 5, this is a very long one, is equal to a plus root ab plus root ab is 2 root ab plus b. Now, collect all the ones that don't have roots together and then collect the ones that have root to one side. So this gives us 9 plus 4 root 5 is equals to a plus b plus 2 root a b. Now, at this point in time, what do you now do? You now compare. Now say compare both sides. Now, if you compare both sides, what are we going to have? We are going to have, let the ones with start root equate each other, or we can say equating both sides by comparison. Equate both sides by comparison. Let the ones without root equate to each other, and then the ones with root equate to each other. So if I have 9 plus 4 root 5 is equals to a plus b plus 2 root ab. Now, in this part, which of them has no root is 9. So 9 will equate to a plus b. So this gives us 9 is equals to a plus b. I say this is equation 1. Now, the next thing we are going to do now, equate the ones with square roots. So this square root now is having 2 root ab. So you now say 4 root 5 is the one with square root is equals to 2 root ab. 4 root 5 is equals to 2 root ab. 4 root 5 is equals to 2 root ab. So at this point in time, what do you think we can do? We can divide both sides by what? By 2. So here will be what? 2. Are we getting it? Here will be 2. And then when you divide here, what will it give to you? Here will be what? Root ab. So this gives us 2 root 5 is equals to root ab. 2 root 5 is equals to root ab. And now say this is equation 2. So at this point in time, what can we do? You now say from equation 2, this is a very lengthy one, but we are going to take it. From equation 2, take it out. 2 root 5 is equals to root ab. To remove the root from here to make it easier, what do you do? Square both sides. Square what? Both sides. Now, 2 square will give us 4 times root 5 square will give us 5. 2 square will give us 4. Root 5 square will give us 5. Is equals to root ab square will give us what? Ab. So 4 times 5 is 20 is equals to ab. Now we now say this is equation 2 proper. Let's say this is equation 2 proper. 20 is equals to ab. So equation 1 says 9 is equals to a plus b. Now let's write them out. Equation 1 says 9 is equals to a plus b. And then equation 2 says ab or 20 is equals to ab. This is equation 1 and this is equation 2 proper. Now at this point in time, we can do some manner of things here. And that is, if 9 is equals to ab, we now say from 1, 9 minus a, or 9 is equals to ab, a plus b. If you want to make a separate of the formula, what do? Take b to this side, becomes 9 minus b is equals to a. Now substitute for a. Substitute for a. Substitute for a. If you substitute for a into equation into 2. Substitute for a into equation 2. So this will be 20 is equal to ab. Wherever you see a, you put 9 minus b. So this gives us 20 is equal to 9 minus b bracket b. 9 minus b bracket b. 9 minus b bracket b. So at this point in time, you now say 20 is equals to, use this to open through, you have a times b. A times b is what? A times b. Okay, this is 9, not a here. This is 9. Now 9 times b is what? 9b minus b times b is b square. Now you can rearrange this to give you a quadratic equation by taking everything here to these sides of the equation. So if minus b square comes there, it becomes what? B square. Then 9b comes to the other side, it becomes minus 9b. You know 20 is already there, plus 20 is equals to 0. Now at this point in time, what do? You now use quadratic equation to solve this. Now quadratic equation is, what are you going to multiply twice? That will give you 20, and when you add it, it's going to give you 9b. Now that is not something that you should be thinking now. Let me just give you the answer direct. This becomes b square minus, the answer is minus 4b minus 5b. Minus 4b minus 5b will give us minus 9b. Minus 4b times minus 5b will give us plus 20b square. So this gives us plus 20, everything equal to 0. And at the end of the day, this gives us b bracket b minus 4 minus 5 bracket b minus 4, everything equals to 0. Why? B and b is common here, you take it out. B divided by b square is b, minus b divided by 4b is 4, minus 5 is common between 5 and 20, so you take it out. 5 divided by 5b is b, 5 divided by 20 is what? Minus 4, and bracket, everything equals to 0. Now according to quadratic equation, you collect 1 inside the bracket, b minus 4, and you collect 1 outside, b minus 5, everything equals to 0. So your b minus 4 is equal to 0, or b minus 5 is equal to what? 0. So finally b is equals to 4, or b is equals to what? 5. But note that from equation 1, we must look for the value of a and b. That's why we are solving everything we are solving. From equation 1, 9 is equals to a plus b. If 9 is equals to a plus b, 9 will be equals to what? A is what? Where's the value of a? You don't know it, but you know the value of b as what? 4. So this gives us 9 is equals to a plus 4. What will be your a? 4 comes to this side, becomes 9 minus 4 is equals to a. 9 minus 4 is what? 5 is equals to a, and a is equals to 5. Are you getting it now? So when our b is equals to 4, a is equals to 5. Now, but our b has two answers. One was 4 and the other one was 5. So when b is equals to 5, what will be a? So it becomes 9 is equals to a plus b. When b is equals to 5, this becomes a plus 5. And then this comes to this side, becomes 9 minus 5 is equals to a. 9 minus 5 is 4 is equals to a. And a is equals to 4. So your answer is, when a is 4, b is 5. When a is 5, b is what? 4. So vice versa. So finally now you now come back to this equation and say the square root you now say the square root of 9 plus 4 root 5 is equals to root a plus root b. The square root 9 plus 4 root 5 is equals to root a plus root b. And our a is what? So our square root of 9 plus 4 root 5 is equal to, what is our a? Our a is 5 and our b is what? 4. If you want to even take it, a as 4 and b is 5, is still the same thing. Are we getting it now? So this is our answer to this question. It's a very lengthy one, but you just have to solve it in theoretical questions like this. But if you meet this kind of question in exam, all you just need to do is press your calculator, square root of, like the way it is now, square root of 9 plus 4 root 5, it will give you the answer direct. Okay, so that is that for that question. Let's look at the next. A binary operation is defined on the set of real numbers given by a, then we have asterisk b is equals to a plus b plus 2ab. And a and b, an element of real numbers, arrow, evaluate 2 asterisk 3. Now when they say evaluate 2 asterisk 3, what does it mean? It means that our a is 2 and our b is what? 3. So it means our a is 2 and our b is 3. Now what are we going to do? Wherever we see a in this equation, you put what? 2. Wherever we see b, we put 3. So 2 asterisk 3 will be equals to, now the equation says what? A plus b plus 2ab. So where's our a? 2 becomes 2 plus, where's our b? 3 plus 2 times 2a times what? 3, which is for b. And this gives us 2 asterisk 3 will be equals to 2 plus 2 is 5 plus 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. And this asterisk 3 is equals to 5 plus 12 is 17. So the answer here is 17. Now the next one is half asterisk 5. Now still following the same precedence. Now half asterisk 5 will be equals to, what is your a here? Your a is half. And where is your b? B is 5. So substituting into the equation says a plus b plus 2ab. So in place of a, we are going to put half, plus in place of b, we are going to put 5 plus 2 times half times 5. This over 1. So first of all, let's simplify this. This half plus 5 over 1 plus 2 cancels 2. We are left with 1 here. 1 times 1 is what? 1 times 5. And this gives us half plus 5 over 1 plus 1 times 5 is what? 5. This one 2 over 1. So at this point in time, what do we do? The LCM of 2, 1, 1 is what? 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 1 is 1 plus 2 divided by 1 is 2 times 5 is 10. And this is 10 again. And this becomes 1 plus 10 is 21 all over 2. And this is the answer to this question. Now 21 over 2 is what? Is 10.5. 10.5. And that is the solution to that question. Now the last one that we have here is very easy. Number 3. 1 asterisk minus 2 asterisk 3. So we have it as 1 asterisk minus 2 asterisk minus asterisk 3. Now you can decide to take it two ways. 1 asterisk 2 first, and then whatever you get asterisk 3. Now what is the operation given to you? If you have a asterisk b, what is it going to give to you? A plus b plus 2ab. So if we take this part first, it becomes 1 asterisk minus 2. It means that our a is 1, our b is what? Minus 2. So 1 asterisk minus 2 will be equals to 1 plus brackets minus 2 plus 2 brackets 1 bracket minus 2. And this gives us 1 asterisk minus 2 equals to 1 plus times minus is minus 2 plus 2 times 1 is 2 times minus 2 is what? Minus 4. So this whole process here is equals to minus 4. And this gives us 1 asterisk minus 2 is equals to 1 minus 2 is what? 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Minus 1 minus 5 is minus 1 minus 4 is minus 5. So everything here gave us minus 5. Let's check to see if there were any error. A asterisk b is a plus b plus 2ab. Is that not so? So we say, well, let's take the first part. I hope that was the question that was given to us, so that we will not, yes, 1 asterisk minus 2 asterisk 3. So our a is 1 and our b is minus 2. 1 asterisk minus 2 equals to, since a is 1, 1 minus 2 plus 2 bracket 1 minus 2. And this gives us 1 minus 2. Then 2 times minus 2 is minus 4. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Minus 1 minus 4 is what? Minus 5. So 1 asterisk 2 is minus 5. The next one will now be minus 5 asterisk 3. Minus 5 asterisk 3. Now let's see what that will give to us. Minus 5 asterisk 3 will be equals to a plus b plus 2ab. A plus b plus 2ab. Now what would that give to us? This will give us minus 5 plus 3, because our A is minus 5 and our B is 3. Minus 5 plus 3 plus 2 bracket minus 5 minus 3. Minus 5 plus 3 is what? Minus 2. Then 2 times minus 5 is what? 2 times minus 5 is minus 10. Minus 10 times 3 is minus 30. And this gives us minus 2 minus 30 is minus 32. Minus 32. So that is how to go about a question like this. Now, how about we take the first two last one? Because this thing, you are supposed to indicate which one are pairing and which one are not pairing. Are we getting it? If you decide to take it the other way around, you may have a different answer. Normally, we are supposed to be shown if this is minus 2, these two come together, then you have minus 3 or asterisk 3, or 1 asterisk, then you have minus 2 asterisk 3. So we know the one that we are grouping and solving with. Okay, so that will be that for this particular question under binary number. Now let's look at the next. The next question says, find the range of values of x for which the inequalities hold. Now the inequality given to you is 14x plus 16 less than or greater than or equal to 17x plus 3 bracket s plus 4. Now what are we going to have here? This becomes 14s plus 16 greater than or equal to 17x plus. Now we are going to solve this question as if it's normal linear equation, linear algebra, using this one also as an equation sign. Is at the end that if we may need to change it to be given to us. So 3 times s is what? 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. And this gives us 14x plus 16 greater than or equal to, now 17s plus 3s is what? 20x plus 12. Now at this point in time, what do you think we can do? We can say let 14s come this way and then 12 come this way. So this will be equals to 16. If 12 crosses to this side, it becomes minus 12. Then greater than or equal to 20x. If this one crosses to this side, it becomes minus what? 14x. And this gives us 16 minus 12 is 4. Are we getting it? 16 minus 12 is what? Is 4. I believe we are correct on that. Yeah, is 4. Then greater than or equal to 20x minus 14x is what? Is 6x. So at the end of the day, divide both sides by 6. This cancels this. Your this cancels here 2. This goes into here 3. So 2 all over 3 is greater than or equal to what? X. And s is less than or equals to 2 all over 3. So your s is less than or equal to 2 over 3. Now, if your s is less than or equal to 2 over 3, these are the range of value. The range of values will be any value that is less than 2 over 3 or equal to 2 over 3. So those values, you will start counting them downward. Okay? But for now, this is the equation that will satisfy that, or this is the range of values that will satisfy that. S must be equal to or less than 2 over 3. Now, the reason why we had to change the sign here is 2 over 3 is greater than or equals to s. If 2 over 3 is greater than or equals to s, it means that s is less than or equal to what? 2 over 3. Just reasoning. 2 over 3 greater than or equals to s. It means that s is less than, because it was already greater than. It means that s, if you want to write it again, you write it like then, change the sign. S is less than or equals to 2 over 3. Now, if you have your number line, let's say this is your number line, and this is your point 0. Now, 2 over 3 will be somewhere around here, because it's positive. Then to this side is what? Minus infinity. Okay? Now, what are we going to do here is to find the interval, the range, because the question says find the range of value. Now the range of values will be the range between minus infinity, because it is x is less than. So if it is less than, it means that it comprises everything from here down to minus infinity. So your answer will be minus infinity. Now notice the difference. Minus infinity, which may include or may not include infinity, then comma 2/3 included. Now this particular bracket means 2/3 is included because it said less than or equal to. So it means 2/3 is included in the values of x, while minus infinity may or may not be included. So these are the range of value. Why did we say it was minus? If you look at the line again, this is 0, this is 2/3, and this is what? Minus infinity. This is positive what? Infinity. They say your value is what? Less than 2/3. Now less than means you are coming this way. Are you getting it? And the last value here is minus infinity because they didn't specify which of the value it is. They just tell you it's less than. So it can be anything up to infinity, but it may not include infinity. Why this one is telling you that it included 2/3. It's as easy as that. So that is the answer to this particular question. Let's go to the next. Now the next question says, given that 2x plus 3yi is equals to 12 minus 15i. Given that 2x plus 3yi is equals to 12 minus 15i. Let's take it again. 2x plus 3yi is 12 minus 15i. Find the values of x and y. Now when we say find the values of x and y, what do we mean? We mean we should equate. To get x and y, we have to equate both sides of the equation. Now we said that every complex number contains the real part and the imaginary part. So what you do is equate real part of the left hand side with the real part of the right hand side, and then equate the imaginary part of this side with the imaginary part of the left hand side. So which of them is the real part here? We say the real part is the one not carrying the iota, and in this case the real part here is what? 2x. So this will give us, for the real part, we have 2x will be equals to, what is the real part here? Is 12. So to get s, divide both sides by 2. S cancel, 2 cancel to s will be equals to what? 6. Are we getting it? Because 12 divided by 2 is what? 6. Now, the imaginary part of this side is 3yi. So equate the imaginary part to the imaginary part of this side. So the imaginary part here is 3yi is equals to minus 15 iota. Now to get y, what do? Divide both sides by 3i. Divide both sides by 3i. 3i cancels 3i from here. So you have your y is equals to minus 15i divided by 3i. Minus 15i divided by 3i. I cancels I. Now 3 going to 15 is what? 5. So your y is minus 5. So your x is 6 and your y is minus 5. It's as easy as that. Are we getting it now? Your s is 6, your y is minus 5. Let's continue. The next one says, if z is equals to 5 plus 12i, find the magnitude of z. Find the magnitude of z. Now the magnitude is usually x squared plus y squared. X squared plus y squared. Where y is the I part. Are we getting it now? Is the I part of this equation. Y is the I part of this equation. So what will it become? So this solution will be, what is our x? Our x is 5. And what is our y? Our y is 12 without the I. Are we getting it? Without the I. So our magnitude of z will be equals to the square root of 5 square plus 12 square. And this will give us the square root. 5 square is 25. 12 square is 144. Now this becomes square root. 25 plus 144 is 169. And then the square root of 169, I think is 13. What is the square root of 169? I think it should be 13. Okay? 13. So your final answer here is 13. And that is the answer to this question. You don't need much solving. Okay? Now, we are given this. Given that tan theta is equals to half, evaluate this. Now, first of all, what is a tan theta? Now you have so, ka, twa. Here tan, which is twa, means opposite over adjacent. Twa means what? Opposite over adjacent. So if we draw a right angle triangle like this, and let's say this is the opposite, theta, this is the adjacent. So what will be your twa? Opposite over adjacent. And your opposite is 1, your adjacent is 2. So this becomes 1 all over 2. Opposite is 1, adjacent is 2. 1 all over 2. Are you getting it now? Now, have we gotten 1 all over 2? How do we get your hypotenuse? Now, this is x. From Pythagoras Theorem, we know that x squared is equals to a squared plus what? B squared. So x squared will be equals to, where's your a? 1. B is what? 2 squared. And x squared will be equals to 1 plus 2 squared is 4. And at the end of the day, we are going to have, what do you think we are going to have? We are going to have x squared is equals to 1 over 4. So x squared will be equals to 1 plus 4 is what? 5. And s will be the square root of 5. So we mean s here is the square root of 5. Now, if you get s as the square root of 5, now we are now going to look for sine theta. Sine theta is usually opposite all over hypotenuse. Where's your opposite? 1. Where's your hypotenuse? Root 5. And then cos theta is adjacent all over hypotenuse. Where's your adjacent? Adjacent is 2, and then hypotenuse is root 5. So evaluating this, what are we going to have? To evaluate that, you have 2 cos theta plus 5 sine theta all over cos theta plus 2 sine theta bracket 1 all over 2. And then substituting into this equation, you are going to have 2 cos. Now, cos theta is what? Cos theta is 2 all over root 5 plus 5 sine theta is what? 1 all over root 5 all over. Cos theta is still 2 over root 5 plus sine theta, which is 2 times 1 all over root 5. Everything bracket half. And this is going to give to us. Now, 2 times 2 here will give us 4. So we have 4 over root 5 plus 5 times 5 here will give us 5 times 1 will give us 5 all over root 5 divided by. Now, this will give us 2 over root 5 times, then 2 times 1 root 5 will also give us 2 all over root 5. And at the end of the day, what are we going to have? This is bracket. Of course, we know that this is on a bigger bracket, half. Now, what do you think we can do here? The LCM of this and this is what? Root 5. Okay? This is positive. This is not multiplication. This is positive. The LCM of this and this is root 5. So we have it as root 5. If the LCM is root 5, the bases are equal. So this becomes 4 plus 5 all over. The LCM here is what? Root 5 all over. Here becomes 2 plus 2. And then bracket 1 all over 2. Now, at the end of the day, what are we going to have? Now, we can decide to write 4 plus 5 is 9 over root 5. Then divided, because this sign means divided. 2 plus 2 means what? 4 all over root 5. Everything bracket 1 all over 2. So our answer will be, we have 9 all over root 5 divided by 4 all over root 5 bracket 1 all over 2. Now, if it changes division sign to multiplication, what are we going to have? We have 9 all over root 5 times, this one becomes root 5 all over 4. Root 5 cannot cancel root 5. Of course, don't forget your raised to the power of half. So we are left with 9, then everything here raised to the power of half. Now, raised to the power of half means what? The square root of 9 all over the square root of 4. Half means square root. Square root of 9 is what? 3. And square root of 4 is what? 2. So your final answer is 3 all over 2. Your final answer is what? 3 all over 2. And that is the solution to that question. First of all, you need to look for sine theta and cos theta using the trigonometric ratio. Okay? It's very easy. Then having gotten sine theta and cos theta, you substitute in the equation and then you do the normal algebra. Now, the next question says, evaluate the sum of the series if the sum to the fourth term as k starts from 1. Now, we have to do it k from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we sum everything together. So when k is equals to 1, our 3k plus 1 would be equal to, when k is equals to 1, 3k plus 1 will be equals to what? 3 bracket 1 plus 1. 3 times 1 is what? 3 plus 1, and this is equals to 4. Now, the next one is when k is equals to 2. We now have 3k plus 1, and this becomes 3 bracket 2 plus 1. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 6 plus 1. This is equals to 7. The next one is k is equals to 3, which is 3k plus 1, and this becomes 3 bracket 3 plus 1, and this becomes what? 9 plus 1, and 9 plus 1 is 10. And finally, when k is equals to 4, 3k plus 1 is equals to 3 bracket 4 plus 1, and this will give us 3 bracket 4 is 12 plus 1. We have 12 plus 1, and that is 13. So our sum, the sum is, just add everything there. 4 plus 7, 11, plus 10, 21, plus 13, which is 34. But let's try it with calculator. 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus 13 is 34. So the sum of that sequence is equals to 34. It's as easy as that. Now let's try the next. The third term of a GP is 4. Now, first of all, we need to know the nth term of a geometric progression. Tn is given as a arrow n minus 1. So if they say the third term is 4, it means what? Third term T3, which equals to what? A arrow. Our n is what? 3. Because they say third term. When they say third term, it means n is equals to 3. So 3 minus 1, everything is equals to what? 4. T third is equals to 4. And this is equals to 4. So this gives us 4, or we can neglect this T third now. This is equals to A arrow. 3 minus 1 is what? 2 equals to 4. This is equation 1. Now the next one say, and the fourth term is 12. Now the fourth term is T4. Using Tn is equals to A. If they say fourth term, it means our n is equals to 4. A arrow 4 minus 1. And that is equals to 12. So this gives us A arrow 4 minus 1 is 3 is equals to 12. So the next one is this equation 2. So we are now going to solve equation 1 and 2. First one says a arrow square is equals to 4. Second one says a arrow cube is equals to 12. Now let us first of all calculate for, let's first of all get for arrow. Say find the first term. We are asked to find the first term. Now we cannot find the first term without getting the common ratio between them. We cannot find the first term before getting, or cannot find the first term without getting the common ratio. Now the first term is our a. Are we getting it? And we need to get the common ratio first. Now how do we get the common ratio? Let's divide this equation 2 and this equation 1. Divide equation 2 by 1. So divide equation 2 by 1. Divide equation 2 by 1. If you divide equation 2 by 1, this gives us a arrow 3 is equals to 12 divided by a arrow square is equals to 4. Now a cancels a. So what are we left with? We have r raised to the power of 3, then which can be written as divided by arrow square is equals to 12 divided by 4. Now, if this one cancels this, what are we left with? We are left with arrow, because there are 3 arrows here, there are 2 arrows. If they cancel, we're left with 1 arrow on top. Is equals to, this cancels this, it will give you 3. So our common ratio is 3. Are you getting it now? Common ratio is 3. Now, if the common ratio is 3, you know from equation 1, you can now say from any of the equation, let's take equation 1, that our a, then arrow square is equals to 4. Your a is what you are looking for. Your arrow is what? 3. So you say 3 square is equals to what? 4. And this gives us a times 3 square is what? 9 is equals to 4. And at the end of the day, your a will be what? 9a, let's take it that way, is equals to 4. So to get a, divide both side by 9. And this cancels this. This gives us 2 over 3. So your a, which is the first term, is 2 over 3. Your a, which is the first term, is 2 over 3. Your a, which is the first term, is 2 over 3. I believe that makes sense, right? Let's try for the other one. Let's see if it will give us the same answer. Now, if we use from equation 2, this becomes a, then bracket. In place of arrow, we'll put 3. 3 raised to the power of 3 is equals to 2. From equation 2, it means we are substituting arrow to this equation now. And this will give us a times, now 3 squared is 27 is equals to 12. Now what do? Divide both side by 27. So a now will be equals to 12 divided by 27 is what? If 3 go into here, it gives us if 3 go into here, it gives us 4. If 3 go into here, it gives us 9. Okay, this cannot be 2 over 3. Sorry, over excitement. Thank God. 4 over 9. A is 4 over 9. There's nothing that can be done. A is 4 over 9. So our A is 4 all over 9. This cannot be broken down. I was thinking it was 6 here. A is 4 over 9. So our first term is 4 over 9. Please take note of that. First term, A is 4 over 9. 4 over 9. And that is the solution to that question. Okay? So let's look at the next. Now, this question is very technical. If alpha and beta are the roots of an equation, now the equation given to you is what? S squared minus 8s plus 2 is equals to 0. Find the equation whose roots are this and that. Now note, to find an equation given the root, use the formula s squared minus sum of roots. Use this equation, bracket s plus what? Product of roots. So you say product of root, everything equals to 0. S squared minus sum of roots, bracket s plus product of root is equals to 0. Now, before we solve further, note something that you need to know. That our alpha plus beta, as time progresses, you get to learn this. Alpha plus beta is minus b all over a. And then your alpha beta is c all over a. Now, if you are given an equation like this, let's say s squared minus 8s plus 2 is equals to 0. Now, your a is 1, which is the coefficient of whatever you have here to the power of square. Then b is anything you have here to the coefficient. The coefficient of x is your b. b will be minus 8 and c will be 2. So this gives us s squared minus the sum of the roots. Sum of the roots. When you add them together, whatever it gives to you is your answer. Now, first of all, let's calculate the sum of the root. The roots given to you are what? 2 alpha plus 1 plus 2 beta plus 1. Now, let's go to another part of the board and calculate do that one. Sum of root. The root is 2 alpha plus 1. Then the other one is what? 2 beta plus 1. So the sum will be addition of these two. Now, 2 alpha plus 2 beta will give us what? It give us 2 alpha plus 2 beta. Then plus 1 is what? Is 2. Are you getting it now? We add the alpha beta, we place them together. Then 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, 2 is common between these two, so you can take it out as 2 bracket alpha plus beta plus 2. So our sum is 2 bracket alpha plus beta plus 2. Now, what will be our product? We have 2 alpha plus 1 bracket 2 beta plus 1. What will be our product? The product is 2 alpha times 2 beta is what? 4 alpha beta. 2 alpha times 2 beta is what? 4 alpha beta. Plus 2 alpha times 1 is 2 alpha. Plus 1 times 2 beta is 2 beta. 1 times 1 is 1. And this gives us 4 alpha beta plus, now this 2 alpha plus 2 beta, 2 is common between these two. You can take it at 2 bracket alpha beta plus 1. So this is your product and this is your what? Your sum. Now, first of all, now we now need to find our alpha beta and then alpha plus beta. Now, what will be our alpha plus beta? We said alpha plus beta is what? Minus b over a. What is your b? Your b is minus 8, so it becomes minus bracket minus 8 all over. What is your a? 1. Minus times minus is what? 8. 8 over 1 is what? 8. That's your alpha plus beta. Now, what will be your alpha beta? Alpha beta is c all over a. What is your c? Is 2. What is your a? Is 1. So alpha beta is 2 all over 1. So we have alpha plus beta as 8 and alpha beta as 2. Alpha plus beta is equals to 8. Alpha beta is equals to 2. Now, for the sum, of course, note, this is the sum and this is the product. Now, what we are going to do, please, when you are writing, make sure you write all this in your notes, okay? Now, what we are going to do is, for the sum, we are going to pick out what we have here. For the sum, this is what we have in total, right? Which is 2 bracket alpha plus beta plus 2. That's what we have for the sum. Now, let's substitute in the value for alpha plus beta, which is 2 bracket. Where's our alpha plus beta? Our alpha plus beta is 8 plus 2. 2 times 8 is what? Is 16. 16 plus 2 is what? 18. So that is our sum for that equation. That's our sum. Now, we'll now come here and say the product. Wherever you see alpha beta, put your value. Where's your value for alpha beta? Is 2 plus 2 bracket. This alpha plus beta. Please take note. Alpha plus beta is 8 plus 1. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1. 8 plus 16 plus 1 is 25. So your answer for the product is 25. So your sum is 18. Your product is 25. Please remember to indicate all this while you are writing. So you now come back here and say The equation for getting an equation, or the formula for getting the equation, is s squared minus sum of roots. Let's just take it sum roots, then plus product of roots plus product equal to 0. S squared minus, where's your sum of roots? Believe your sum is 18. So in place of the sum of the root, you put 18. Then it has x outside plus, where's your product? Your product is 25 equal to 0. So this is the new equation. S squared minus 18s plus 25 is equal to 0. And this will be the end of this session. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification button so that you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.